Do you want to automate your business processes? Do you want to improve your organization's financial accountability, transparency, enable accurate data recording and workflow to make execution easier and faster? Are you having issues running your entire business with a single solution? Instead of relying on unreliable solution, do you need consistent and flexible solution? Zetamind Consulting provides software development services, IT project management, business applications, cloud hosting, implementation and support services for Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM and Business Central, Enterprise X ERP,
and Microsoft Azure Cloud Solution.
Client satisfaction is our goal. Call
070-429-43031
or visit
www.zetamindconsulting.com.
A very good morning to you all. Thank you for joining our first session of the free Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central webinar for accountants. And yes, the instructor, Mr. Tunji Aderito, the managing partner, Zetamind Consulting Limited, is very much set to take us through this section. And of course, Business Central is very much available online. To use the trial version for practice, you can go to Zetamind website, www.zetamindconsulting.com. Scroll down to the training section. From there, you are going to see a button that says check the Business Central capabilities. So if you have an account, you can log into your account. And if you don't have, you can create an account so that you can have a 30 days trial test with the Business Central. This is how far I can go. And over to you, Mr. Tunji. Thank you very much.
So to start the application, so we log into the application. So I want to log into the application now. I'll pick login. I've been able to log in. So when you log in, this is what we see. So this is the account. So this is my account that I used to log in. Lukman Imran. So if I log out now, I will log out of the system. I can log in. So what I need to do to log into the test environment is just my email account, which we have done here. So you can see here that with this application, you can see that start a free trial is a free. It allows you for free testing, free trial to assess the application. So the 30 days trial will start when you create a new company. So, but if you don't create a new company within the application, you can start using the application. So now let's go straight to the functionalities. So you can see the opening environment here. So we have the opening menu here. So you close more than 15 deals. So the system is even giving you ideas of what you have inside your application. So this is part of AI, artificial intelligence. So when you look at the applications, when you look at the activities here, the system is already giving you information that is going to be of interest to you. For example, the system is telling you the sales for the month is this, the overdue sales invoice amount is this, overdue purchase invoice amount is this. So then when you come down, the system is also giving you information about the numbers of quotes you have, the numbers of sales order, the numbers of invoices, so that you can be more proactive to take decisions. So the system is telling you the numbers of purchase order, the numbers of purchase invoices, and the rest of that. When I come here about payments, the system is giving me information about unprocessed payments, outstanding invoices, then you have incoming documents and the rest of that. So all these are just to make you more proactive. Then because the system is also integrated with your email, so it's telling you though you are within this Business Central, is giving you information about your email. Your draft email outbox is this, our sent email in the last 30 days is this. So it's giving you, because everything is integrated together. You are working with within the same application of Microsoft. Here is you also have other boxes, and these can be customized to your specific need. So that if this is not exactly the way you operate, if you want some information that once you log into your system, you want to see, that can be configured on your profile. This is my profile. That is something you see every day once you log into the system. Then, apart from that, you also have the bar chart. You can see the business performance. The system is telling you, currently, what is your sales value, in terms of who's giving you more sales. You can see top 5 customers by sales value. So you have the most of the sales, I think certain percentage here. So we can even put percentages. So this is telling you about the sales. And then also in terms of your favorite accounts, because as an accountant, you have some figures, some GL accounts that you know that you need to check on daily basis. So you can bring those ones also on your outbox. Then you have your trial balance also. Everything here is within your outbox. That is when you log in, these are the information you see, and you can take decisions quickly. So this is your trial balance. This is your trial balance in the last. I think this is for March, and this is for April, and you can start comparing them. This is total revenue for March. This is total revenue for April. This is the cost of sales, total cost for March. This is total cost for sales for April, and then you can look at the gross margin. And then, so when we talk about helping you to take fast decisions, you can see in reality how the system is able to support you, because with this now you can take decision. You can quickly send your information to top management that want to get your information. But this is because this is just a summary of all your accounts, and it's just within a few lines. So the total revenue, the total cost, the margin, then operating costs, operating margin, then you have operating expense, other expenses, and then the system will give you your profits. Then this system is also integrated with your BI. That is business intelligence. So here you can see your 5 items sold by quantity. So if you are looking at, okay, which of those our items are selling more, so you can see you don't need to start looking at several figures, several data to get that. So you can easily get it directly from here. So that is exactly what we are talking about. The system helps you to take fast decisions. So it makes you work smarter, so you don't have to look at several figures. So now we want to start with the chart of accounts. So it has chart of accounts. Because the focus of this training is specifically on for finance. So we want to go straight to chart of accounts. So this is a chart of accounts for the software. So you can see my chart of accounts. Like the basic thing about the chart of accounts in this system is divided into balance sheet and income statement. So all these are the first set are balance sheet. You can see here where we have income and the balance sheet. So all these are the first set are balance sheet down here, and then the rest are income statement. So this is chart of account list. So if to go into my GL accounts, so all I need to do is just to pick one of the GL accounts. So if I pick this, which is the let's say petty cash, for example, if I double click the GL, the system will open the GL account card. So this is my GL account card. You can see information here is divided into general tab. We have postings, then we have consolidation, reporting, and then we have a costing account. So that tells you the extent of this application. So because of it has several features. It's not just an accounting software. So it's very robust. So what do you have under the GL account card? So we have the number, the GL account number, we have the name of the account number, we have the income or balance sheet, we have the account category, we have the account subcategory, then we have the debit or credit, as the case may be. So sometimes you need to, you can put this debit or credit as just only as both, or you put debit or as credit. The same thing is applicable to categories. Under the categories here, so you have the option of assets, liability, equity, income, cost of goods sold, and expenses. Then subcategory. So these subcategories allows you to divide your that particular account further. So when you are talking about assets, you have a current assets, and then you have fixed assets. So all these things assist your reporting. It makes your reporting very, very easy. So on the GL account card, we have here posting, if it is the kind of account that allow for posting. But if not for posting, then you can also have total. But because I want to use this particular GL account for posting, so I will leave it as posting. But if it is just something used for heading, let's say for example, like this asset now, this is heading, and that is why you see that it's not posting, it's like total. So it's totally totaling account. So for under the still under the GL account card, here we have the balance. This balance here is not is like something is dynamic. So when you drill down now, it gives you the details of all the entries in that account. So you can see now. So all these are the things that is posted. Total of all these accounts is what we report on my GL account here. So you can see the balance is reported on my GL account here. So then the reconciliation account means, do I want to reconcile this my account anytime I want to be seeing the total each time I post with that transaction. So if I want to do that, then I have to mark it on. Then this is the case of when I want to allow for direct posting. Then when you want to block the account, and then this is the case when you want to use it for description. So all these are just a lot of setups you can do on your GL account. So if I want to create a new GL account, so I want to create a GL account under expenses. So let me go to expenses. For example, so I have these are expenses, income statement accounts. I have rent expenses, advertising expenses, and the rest of them. So I want to create one. I want to call it postages expenses. So to create the GL account, let me add it. Where can I add it? I can put it in between. I will put it so I want to put it as 60350. So I'll pick a new account. So let me pick a new GL account, 60350. Then I want to call it postages expenses. Postages expenses. So this is postages expenses. So I know it's expense under the category, and under the subcategory is still part of my expenses account. So other expenses. So I can call it fees. Okay, so because it's going to be between 300 and, so let me look at that range. Okay. Okay, I can put it as part of the utility expenses. So this is it. Then is allowed for is posting. I will allow both debit and credit. So because if I give only debit, the implication is the system will only allow me debit entries into that account. So it will not allow me to post credit, especially when I need to do reversals. that will not be possible. And that is why I put both. So for both credit and for debit. Then here, reconciliation, all those ones are just optional. But because I need to post directly into the account, I need to put allow direct posting. So that is done. So I can post into this account. So let's see how we can do that. And we can do that under the GL entry. So I want to create a journal, GL journal. So general journal. So this is a general journal. I want to raise the journal for that to debit, to post into that account. So I'm using today's date. Today is 50, but this is American. So that's why it's giving me 6.5. It's okay. So the document number, I can put the document number as test 01. Then I will pick the account. So the account is postages. So I pick the account. Then the amount I want to post into the account. Let's say we posting 5,000. Then so that is debit. Now the other account. So that is going to be the credit. Let's say it's cash, petty cash. I'm paying to petty cash. Then this one is going to be so I'm putting this one as a minus 500. So now before I can post this transaction, the system needs to give me the total as balance, which is 0. So if it is not balanced, the system will not allow you to post. So this is just a debit of 5,000 and credit of 5,000. So we are debiting the postage expenses and we are crediting bank. So most of the time, you want to check and confirm whether your the entries will go through without any error. So you can do preview posting. So when I do preview posting, the system will give me the idea of the transaction. So yeah, I have the entries here. So you can see the entries is here to confirm to me that the entries will go through. So I'm debiting these accounts and I'm crediting the other account. So you can see the postages account is being debited and the cash, petty cash is being credited. So that means this is fine. So all I need to do is now to post. So I can post my transaction. So post. So when I post the transaction, you see the journal line was successfully posted. So if I want to check the effect of that entry, so let me go back to my please, can we put off our video, please? So if I go to my postages account, yes, this is my postages account. So that's 5,000. So you can see now, you can see 5,000 here. So this is that is how the entries. You can see the entry now of the 5,000 I just posted. So apart from the fact that you can put, let's go back to the journal again and see the general journal again. So if I once I post any other entries, it goes into the goes into the account. So the next thing we need to do, so let's look at dimensions. Dimension is a case where you want to departmentalize your expenses. We call it departmental accounting. So that is a situation where you have a cost, you have your cost divided into different dimensions. For this software, we have the opportunity of dividing your costs into as much as almost 20 different compartments or departments or in form of cost centers. So to get the dimension, we come to dimensions. Under dimension here, if you look at this dimension here, we have, these are the dimension already set up in the test environment. So that is what we are saying is you can analyze your cost in these various ways. You can analyze your cost in area in terms of business group. You can analyze your costs according to customer group, some according to department, purchases, and the rest of that. So now let's say I want to make a department mandatory for my expenses and income statement, because that is what we normally do. Because I want to make sure that when they are posting into my income statement, I want to know exactly where that expenses is coming from. So let's look at these rent expenses, for example. So if I go to my the rent expense card, I want to see the dimension. If I pick this dimension, I can see that there's no dimension set up on this expense, rent expense. So the implication is the system will allow us to post without specifying the department or the cost center where that cost is coming from. So now I want to change that. I want to set up a dimension. So I will say department here. Then here under the value. So I don't want to be specific about any department. So, but I want to tell whoever is posting to this account that the code must be mandatory. So the implication about this is if anybody want to post into this account, the system will make it mandatory for them to post into. They must put any of this code, either admin, production, or sales. At the same time, I can do something and say, look, for anything that is coming to this account, it must be within certain dimensions. This we use this situation, especially when we created some GL accounts, and then we know that those GL accounts are specifically for some cost centers. We don't expect some other department to post into those cost centers. So for example, here I can say, okay, this particular cost center is going to be only for admin and production, and I'll pick okay. So once I do that, the system also mark it that allowed value filters are admin and production. If I want to post sales into this cost center, the system will not allow me to do it. So let's see. Now, so I want to raise another journal. Now, so general journal. So I just want to show demonstrate the use of dimension here. So I'm on my my journal now. Now I want to change I want to use fewer columns. These fewer columns is a situation where the system allows you to use vertical method. You know, the vertical method is a situation where you can see my debit credit. If that is what I preferred, you can also change your journal to this form. So here I want to pick the cost center. So I'm talking the GL account. So I'm talking about rent expense. So then then I am debiting this with let's say with 100,000. So this is the rent expense. Then I want to come here and I'm also posting it into, let's say, petty cash. I mean, so just for illustration purpose. Then this is going to be credited, and I'm making it 100,000. So now, if I want to post this now, so let's see if the system will allow us to post it. So let's say I want to preview first. Can you see the error message? The system did not allow me to post. This is one of the controls that we as a finance person or accountant need to do, because if you don't do this, if you don't do the setup rightly, the challenge is people will just post into it, and then when you want to report your account, it becomes a challenge. You now start, try to, I don't know how you want to fix that. When you have your expenses and you can't say precisely which department the cost is coming from. So assuming you have set up that, and then somebody want to post, even when they want to send for approval, it is also possible for the system to check that the dimension is required, and if the dimension is not specified, they will not be able to post into that. They will not even be able to send that document for approval. So now we want to do the right thing. So because the dimension is required, I'll come to this line here, and then I'll come to the dimension to set the dimension required for this. So I'll come there and pick the dimension department, and then I'll pick the value because it's only admin or production. So I pick admin. So I say, okay. So if I have another one again, I can say 600, which is I think six, no, this, I'm talking about rent expenses. So for rent expenses, then we want to also post something for admin. I think the first one was production, so we want to post for admin. So I have, let's say this one is 500, and then I have this one as so this is now going to be for admin. So I have this one already for, let me check, confirm the dimension. Okay, this is production. Then I can come here again and set this one. I come to the dimension, and then which is for the department and the admin. So I hope this, so this is, so let me just check again, confirm the, so this is production, right? Okay, that's fine. So now you see, you notice that you will not be able to post this. Why? Because the total of the debit is 150, but the credit is what? Is 100. So even if I test the printing, I want to post, and now say test preview posting, the system will tell me that this is out of balance because it's not because the total of debit is not equals to credit. So, and they have to equal. So what I need to do, since everything, the whole credit is going to the cash account, petty cash, so I can just simply put this one as a 150, and then everything is okay now. So I can post this. I can come here, I will come here and then pick post. So it's successfully posted. So that is very critical. So if we go back to the dimension, let's go to dimension. Because of time, we will not be able to go extensively in the discussion on dimension. So so still talking about the dimension here. So let me go to, we are talking about dimension now. This is a case where the code is mandatory here. So we can also set other dimension. For example, if I have customer group, I can decide and say, look, the only thing that is allowed here is going to be large. So the implication here is if anybody is picking this customer group, one, for the department, they can select either admin or production, but when it comes to customer group, the customer group has to be large. Then I can also set, just for one single GL account, I can set as much as 3 or 4, 5 different dimensions. What we are saying is, that figure in one GL account, you can analyze it to different forms. You can analyze it according to department. You can analyze it according to business, customer business group. You can analyze it according to customer purchaser. So whichever one is important for your business, which is required for making decisions. So once you are able to capture the data according to the right dimension, then it will become easier for you to analyze the figure. So let me just post one or two other transactions in the expense again. Then we now analyze the figures, and then we see how the system. Okay, we can even go ahead with this because of time. So let's analyze this. So I want to analyze this rent expenses by dimension. So what I need to do is just to come to the GL analysis by dimension. If I pick this, so I will specify the date period. I think we are talking of 20,001. So 01. I need to specify the period for the analysis. 21. So maybe down to December 12/31 21. Okay. So the GL account I want to analyze is because I want to be specific. So that is rent. I want to analyze the rent. Yes. So then what else again? Then I want to analyze it according to departments. Then the next thing I will tell the system is to show me the matrix. So can you see what I've done? See the analysis of what I did, and you can see that there's a case of one without a dimension. 150 was, I think, about 15,000 or so was posted without a dimension. But the one I posted with dimension is what the system has analyzed for me. So this is what you see when you appropriately map your GL account. And it is the job of the accountant to know what is the end result I want. So what are those kind of reports I want to send to the management? What are those analyses they normally request for? My CFO normally requests for, my MD normally requests for. So you can use that to come back and then map your GL account according to those different cost centers. And once you have done that, anything that is going to be posted to that account, they need to mark it with those dimensions. And once it is done, when you want to analyze it, it becomes very easy, very simple. So you can see the way, if I have several other GL accounts, this is the way the system will analyze it in my department. And then I can send it to my management and say, this is the analysis of the figures in that particular expense account. So now we also have, we want to move to budget. We have the budget functionalities in the system. So I want to set up a budget. I will pick, it's very straightforward. I'll pick new budget. So I'm setting up a budget for FY 2021. So this is the budget for the period for FY for 2021. So now I'll come and then set up my budget. So this is my budget. So you can see the income statement. You can see down to my, because I've filtered this for only the expenses account. So I can expand it here. So now, because I just created the budget, so I don't have anything here. The January is blank, everything is there. So, but nothing there, nothing in terms of figures. So I want to budget for, let's say, for postages expenses, for example, in January. So let's say what I'm expecting to spend here is let's say 5,000. So I'll click on this dot. You can see the 3 dots. So click on the dot here, and then you pick new, and then you can now put the amount. That is the budget figure. So I put the budget figure here, so which is 500, let's say 50,000. So you come out here. So immediately I do that, you can see that this is already captured. So I can come here again and then set the budget for February. So then I will pick the amount. Let's say this one is 60,000. So you can see, and then let's say April, I have the budget figure. I'll pick new again, and then pick the figure as 20,000 if I want. So that is how to set up your budget. And I can also add the budget for the rent. So I'll just go to the account, my rent expenses, come here, pick new, then put the account, then come here again in February, and then pick new, and then put my budget figure. So that's it. So you can see now this is also there. So you can see as I set the budget, the system will be reporting as my total income, and then total. So you can see that the total expenses here is, and so the next thing I need to do now is also to set the budget for revenue. So all I need to do is just to what is my budget for the income services. So this one will come in form of minus. Then I can put let's say 1 million, for example. So in March, I have this as a new. I have this as minus 65,000. So you can see, then let's say I have income for product also. I can pick this, pick new, and then I think with this we should be okay. So let's stop here, minus. So that's it. Now, after setting my budget, then I can now, there are so many reports I can see here. For example, I can look at my trial balance with my budget, so that it will give me the opportunity to know how far in terms of my actual to the budget. So all I need to do is just, you can see that I'm in this particular budget. I can even have another budget. Let's say, for example, within the course of the year, like we had last year when we had COVID, nobody ever thought there would be, the period will come with the challenges. So you can always have different budgets, forecasts. So I can have another budget, I call it FY 2021. I can say revise, if that is what I want. Then that is going to be a revised copy budget. Then the first thing I can do is I can tell the system to copy what is here, to copy my okay, this functionality is not here. Okay, we will discuss that later. Let me see. Just hold on. Okay, it's there. So you can see now. So I have created another budget. I call it revised. So I can copy this rather than going through the route of, start typing. Although it is also possible to upload your figures. You can upload your figures into the budget directly through Excel. We are going to have a series of webinars on that, specifically on advanced in terms of budgeting and then costing and the rest of that. So it is possible to copy the budget. I can copy it. So I'm copying the budget now. So I'm copying the budget name. I want to put it in the other budget. So this is also possible. So I can copy from one budget to the other. So you copy from you specify the budget name. I'm copying from budget 21. I want to copy to budget, this revised budget. So let's see whether the system will do that. Yes, the system, do you want to start the copy? I say, yes, I want to copy. And then the system said the budget has been successfully copied. So if I go to the budget now, let me see, I come here now, and then you can see that everything from that other budget has been copied. So this is part of what we call productivity. It makes you work fast, smarter. So you don't have to go through the route of copying everything all over again. For example, if I've set a budget for a year and I want to roll over the budget, maybe I just want to multiply by certain percentage, that is also possible. All I need to do is just tell the system, copy the budget and then multiply effect. So the system has it, adjusted factor. So what do you want to adjust? Yes, I want to just adjust it by certain, so I can just say 1.2. So what the system will simply do, it will now copy that budget, the original budget, it will copy it into the other budget, multiply it by 1.2%, simply, and then you have your figure. And that is how the system can, that is how efficient the system can make you to do your work. So now, so we are talking about those various reports we can have. So we have a dry balance and the budget. So if I pick this, I can come to the budget here. So the numbers, I want to run the report for only income statement. I don't want to run for everything because I only set budget for income statement. So I'm looking at the filter, and I use only the filter for income statement. You can see income statement. So then the system is now telling me to specify the date. So I want to run the report for 01. I can just say period 1 to period 12. As simple as that. Is it taking it? No, it's not taking it. Oh, okay, period 1 to period 12. Let me see. Okay, took it. So you can see, so the system is running for this period. I don't want to put budget filter because okay, I can, let me use, yes, I can do that. Let me run for, you can see that you can run for any of the budgets. If you have different budgets, forecast 1, forecast 2, forecast 3, and then your management is requesting for the report based on the particular forecast on this one, you don't have to delete the budget. You don't have to override the budget. The budget is there, it's a data, or is your data. You can always revise it. You always have it in the system. You can always compare it with any other budget, any other actual. So I'm comparing my actual with the revised budget because of the challenges, as the case may be. And then the next thing I will do, tell the system to do, is to run the report. And then so I will now run preview. So what does this give us? You can see it's the system will give us we have the report, sorry. Wow. I'm trying to resize it. Okay. Okay, okay. I think, I hope you can see this. So now we have the net change, and then we have the balance. So the income statement, income here, which is based on this is the debit and credit. These are actual, and this is the budget. So the system is because the budget is wow. So you can see that this this is very, the percentage variance is very wide anyway. But so we have this is the actual figures, and these are the percentage in terms of the budget. So you have the net change, and then you have the balance. The balance is year to date. So you have those two figures. The system will give you the net change based on what you have, what you put in your filter, and then what is the year to date. But because we ran this for the whole year, and that is why we have the same figures here and here, so assuming, oh, okay, this is the balance as at now. So you can see the balance as at now. So this is the balance, and this is the next change. So depending on the way you want your report, this is not, we can always modify this report to suit your taste, to your exact, based on your request, based on the way you want it. So the report can be reconfigured, but that's just the standard. You have the actual, and then you have the budget figure. Can we mute our mic? Can we put off our video, so please? Okay. So that is for the budget. We are moving to recurring journals. This is one of we have already discussed journals already. Okay, so let's just look at some other things in journals, especially how we can post use journals to post invoices. So I pick a general journal again. So on the general journal, we have, so I want to use the case where I have the balancing account. So if I want to use the balancing account, I go to page here. I can tell the system to give me more columns. So with more columns, I will have a, so this is a case of like a T form where I have the debit here and I have the balancing account. So let's say I want to set up the balancing account like this monthly journal expenses, for example. So the advantage with this is because the balancing account is already set up on the batch here. So the implication is the balancing entries will always go to this particular account. So I pick this. You can see that the balancing account is already set here. So the only thing I need to now add anytime I'm posting my, anytime I'm generating my transaction is going to be the only one side of the entry. So let's say I put this, and then this is just a case of an invoice, for example, and then I pick this as a vendor, and then so let's say I pick this this vendor, and I have this let's say it's 1,000 or let's say 100,000, for example. So the implication is the entry we automatically, the other entry will automatically go to this account, which is the balancing account we have here. So because I'm debiting this is just, okay, sorry, this is going to be like a case of a payment anyway. So I pick this as a payment because I'm debiting the vendor and I'm crediting my checking account. So let's check whether this will go through preview, and then it's fine. So the system, each time you want to post, especially when it involves subledger, so the system will not only give you the GL account, the GL entries, it will also show you the effect in the subledger entries. So because this is involving vendor, so you can see the vendors affected. So, and that's why the system is giving you vendor ledger entry and the GL account. So when we look at the GL entry, so what is the effect? We have the vendor is going to be debited, and then this account will be credited. So which account will be credited? So we have the accounts that, okay, so this account is credited and this account is debited. and then we can post. So we don't have to post only one line. You can create, you have the opportunity of, entry several lines. So you can continue with the lines. So this is June. So let's say I want to still have a O1 again. So maybe this is also a payment. Then I also want to make another payment to another vendor. So let's say this vendor, and then this in this case is just 50,000 naira. So I can do that, and then I can post. So you want to post the entry? I say yes, and it's successfully posted. So after your posting, you can always see the effect of the entries. So you can see that when you look at your vendor now, which is part of your payables, you see that the system must have posted to your vendor control account. So let's look at our vendor control accounts. So the effect is here. We have the checking account here. So if I drill down on my checking account, I will see the two entries I posted now. So you can see these are the two entries I posted. So then you can also see the entries from the account payables. So these account payables, because those accounts are posted, they are mapped to this account. Don't forget that on the chart of accounts, we always have the control accounts. So the control account for vendor is this account payables. So all the entries, apart from the fact that the system will create the subledger, it will also come to the GL entries. So this is the entries. You can see graphics, design, institute, and first up consultant. So those entries are there because they are passed through the payables control accounts. Now, apart from this general journal, we have recurring. So let's see the case of recurring journal. So what is the recurring journal? Recurring journal is a kind of journal that you post, and then the journal will not be deleted. So if you notice, you will see that each time I post my journal, the system deletes the entries. But when you have some regular schedules that you normally post in your system, you can map them once. That is part of making you more efficient, saving your time to a lot of manual entries. So you can set up your recurring journal, and you don't have to be doing it every month again. All you need to do is just call up your recurring journal every month, and then you can post your journal. And this recurring journal, the beauty is available everywhere. When we come to any other during one of our other webinar series, talking about trade, talking about supply chain, talking about manufacturing model, we will look at other recurring journals in those other areas. So, but because this is basically for finance model, so we will concentrate on the GL general journal recurring journal for GL. So I want to pick recurring journal, recurring general journal. Okay, so this is recurring general journal. So this is my recurring general journal. So you see the name here, recurring general journal here. So this is unique. It's different from the normal general journal in the sense that it has some other functionalities. One of the functionalities is the recurring method. So here we have these various options of recurring journal. Do you want it fixed? A fixed is a situation where the figures you want to post is fixed. It will not change. So if you have a situation where your regular Accra or whatever you want to create on your recurring journal is going to be fixed, it will not change every month, then we can make it fixed. We can pick the option fixed. The other option is variables. So when do we use this variable. We use it when the amount of the journal is different each period. So you use this variable when the amount is going to be changing every time, every month. So the implication is the system we have, you have the detail of the journals of the entries, but the system will take off the amount so that each month you have to put the value before you post the journal. Then you have the case of balance. The balance is a situation where you want a situation where the balance on that GL account, you want to redistribute it, you want to allocate it. We also have that case. Then you have the case of reversal. That's the case where you want to post, you want to make accra, and at the beginning of the month, you want to reverse it. Then this is a case of reverse fixed. This is a case of reverse variable. This is a case of reverse balance. And then we have a new functionality now that is just introduced about 2 months ago. This one is called balance by dimension. So this gives you the opportunity of also distributing or allocating your balance figure by dimension. And then we also have the reversing balance by dimension. This is a new functionality. So the reason why we're having this functionality is because we are using cloud. So because the system does not reside on your system, on your laptop or your server in your office. So that is one of the key advantage when you key into the cloud functionality of the software. So all you need to do is just to have your account, you log in, you will always have the latest version at any point in time. So now, for the purpose of this class, we look at fixed, and then we also look at variable because of time. So apart from this recurring method, we also have recurring frequency. What do we mean by recurring frequency? Recurring frequency field contains formula that determines how frequently the entries on the journal line will be posted. This formula can contain a maximum of 20 characters, either alphabetic or numeric, that the program recognizes as abbreviation for time specification. So it's not that complex, but it's just, most of the time what we just do is we just put a current month. Let's say, for example, I want this particular entry to be posted at the last day of every month. So I want to start with, let's say I'm starting with in January. I want to post into January. Once I post into January, this journal, according to, based on the advantage, it will not get deleted. It will still remain on the journal, but the date will change. So I have put current month here. So let me just say, so the frequency is going to be 1 month plus current month. Then the last day of the month, let's say the last day of January, let's look at it. We will see it now. So I want to put 01 31 21. Okay, so this is an invoice. So I'm saying webinar class, webinar 001. Then I'm posting it. I want to pick a vendor. So this vendor is let's pick a vendor. Let's pick this guy. The first vendor, 1,000. This is fixed. Okay. And we now go to, because it's fixed, because it's a fixed contract. So the amount, what is the amount? The amount is going to be let's put let's put 50,000. So because I want to credit this, so I'm putting minus there. So I want to now allocate, okay, so that we can divide it. It's still okay. So let's now, when we go to the allocation, I'll pick the allocation here. So I want to allocate this 50,000. So I'll pick this. I come to this allocation here. So this is a case of, let's say, cleaning. Do I have cleaning account here? I don't have cleaning. So I want to allocate it to some expenses and the cost centers. So let me look at, okay, I can say maintenance. Or I can say miscellaneous expenses. So, okay, fine, this is fine. Then I will now, for this one, this is for sales. I'll pick this sales dimension, department, pick this, and then let's say I start with admin, and then I close the entry. Okay, close. For the admin, let's say admin is taking a certain percentage. Admin is taking 20% or 30%. So I repeat the same thing, 61500. I have this as 50%, or let's say 60%. Then which department is this? So I have the admin. Let's say I have this as production. So let me go to production dimension, and then I pick production here. So department, production, department, so production. Maybe I just limit it to just line because of time. So let me increase this one to 70% so that we can stop there. So 70%. So by the time I close this, the system will tell me how much I've allocated. So I've allocated 50. So now in the case of a variable, so the variable is another example. So I have the same, so let's say 1 month plus current month. So I have the same date, 01/31/21. So variable invoice, another vendor, okay, the same, let's say web 002. Then I have the vendor, I pick the vendor. Now, because this vary. So I come here, we can also make this one minus 100,000, for example. So I now go to the allocation. In the allocation now, I can pick, let's say I pick postages, because this is not constant. So postages take, you can put the actual amount, you can put percentage. So whichever one is convenient for you. So if I say 30,000, I don't know, I think it's 50,000, I don't know, 50 years. So then I can distribute it. Maybe these are the expenses responsible for that that cost. Sorry. Apart from postages, we also have other accounts. I will pick one more accounts and then we can move on with it. So let's say expenses. Okay, it doesn't allow direct posting. So, okay, this is not this heading. Okay. Expense. Advertising, let me use advertising. Then I make this another 10,000. No, 10,000. So let me add one more. Expenses again. Postages, I put postage, I put interest. Have I put rent? No. Let me put rent also. And then let's say this is 20, another 10,000 or so. So this is my recurring journal, like I said. So if I close this, okay. Oh, I have 500,000. Okay, I have 100,000, but I've only allocated 50,000. Wow. Oh, sorry. This is percentage. So 30,000. Copy. Because it's 100,000, so we can make this. We can make this 50. We can make this one 30. So yes, 30 remaining 20. Then we can make this one 20,000. Okay. So we close. The most important thing is the two must match. So you must match. See, if they don't match, the system will not allow you to post. So this is 50 and I've allocated 50. This is 100, I've allocated 100. That is the mission. So once that is done, I can preview my posting again. So you see, I think one of the dimension we said is dimension is mandatory. Which of them is that? Dimension is mandatory. I think it was rent. Okay, so rent. So where did I use rent? So I have to put dimension. If I don't put that, the system will not allow me to. So I can pick the allocation here. So I think rent here. Okay. So I'll come here, pick the dimension, and then okay, I can even delete. Okay, to avoid this challenge, let's remove the close. Is because that's the advantage of dimension. The system will not allow you to post anything to that account without you putting dimension to the GL account. So you can see, let's check the review. Okay, so this is fine. So you can see the system will post these 6 entries and then it will post the ledger entries. So we can post now and see the effect. Let's see the effect of the recurring journal. So we post, and then there we go. Okay, successfully posted. Can you see now the entries have been posted, yet it's still left on the screen. The fixed one we leave will still be there. The fixed, because I said fixed, so the fixed is still fixed, it's still there. Even on the allocation is also there. You can see the allocation is still there, but my variable is deleted. You can see now the value is no longer there, but the allocations in terms of the setup will be there, so that whatever figure I specified will also be allocated. Then another thing you also notice is the date has changed. The system will post that one into January, and the system automatically pick the last day of the month, which is now the last day of February. So that is the use of the recurring journal. So we want to move to what is called the standard journal. There's something very similar to this. We call it a standard journal. Standard journal is also something very close to general journal, in the sense that you set it up, but it doesn't have this recurring thing in terms of date and allocation. So how do we use standard journal? So the reason why we are showing all these functionalities is you need to decide which one works best for you, especially based on which one will give you the best result, and then which one is very efficient for whatever you want to do. So standard journal. Standard journal is still under journal functionality. So very soon now we will allow you to ask questions. So I have under my process, I have the standard journal. So this is standard journal. I don't have anything. You can set up your standard journal also. You set it up once. We use it mostly, especially in the case of payroll. So I can set up my payroll expenses as a standard journal. Then I will call up the journal each time, and then I can now, because I will have mapped all those payroll heads in the journal. So this is an example. So I want to create this standard journal now. I want to call it webinar STD. So I can say webinar standard journal. So then the same thing is applicable here. You can leave it blank, or you pick a particular function, a particular option. So if I leave it blank, I can pick the GL account. So let me quickly do that so that we can move to the next thing. So let's say I pick inventory. I want to post into inventory. If that is what I want to do, then if you notice, you see that it also has the amount. It has everything, just like a normal journal. It also has the balancing account. If I also have a balancing account, I can put it there. I will just set it up once. So I want to pick maybe additional two accounts. Now I want to go to expenses. I'm picking. Let me pick postages. So I will pick postages. I come to the amount. I'm picking. I put 60,000. So maybe I still have the same account. Checking account. I think this is okay. So let's leave it at 2. So this is my standard. I've set up my standard general journal. So like I said, it's just you set it up once. Now, on my journals, I mean, anytime I want to call the standard journal, I can create a fresh journal. I'll just call it my journal. I'll just use my journal. So my journal, this is the journal. So I now pick OK. So then the next thing I do now is I now come to the process and I call my standard journal. So the system will give me, it's possible to have several standard journals, each for different functions. So just pick it, just say OK. Once you say OK, the system will copy it to the line automatically. You can see that this is my journal and this is the line. So you can now put the exact date you want to put here, and then you can post your journal. So I can do that here. I'll just put this is fine. December, no, I don't want to post it to December. Let me post to 6 June. I want to post to 6 June 06. So then I post the journal. So I come to the post and I post my journal, and that is fine. So if I want to call it again, that's the advantage of the standard journal. I'll call my standard journal again and I pick OK. Then it will come to the line again. See, it has not gone. But if it's a normal journal, the moment I post it, it will go off. So my advice is, if you have a kind of a journal you normally use regularly, you can set it up as a standard journal. This is different from recurring journal. Recurring journal is for a specific purpose, and standard journal also serve a lot of other functions, depending on what you want to achieve at any point in time. So we want to look at some basic reports before we go to receivables and payables. In the area for receivables, yes, we have for the reports, we have some basic reports you can always check on the system. So what you do is we come to a menu. Okay, so I want to come back to my, so I want to look at some of the basic reports. So one of the reports we can see in the system, there are several reports. We can check the basic reports. We can look at the trial balance. So my trial balance, this is my trial balance. The system is, you have all these various options. Do you want to compare with the budget? You want to compare with last year? The system allows you to do that seamlessly. Then the rounding figures, you can also do that. If you want to put all these variances, you can also have that in the report. And if you just want to keep it simple, it is also very possible. So I will just come here, put the date. The dates we are looking at P1 to P12. Or let's say we want to just look at P1, for example. So if you want I pick P1, the system will automatically give me, because it's period 1. Period 1 means January, so it will give me from beginning of January to end of January. So then I will come, let's look at, if you have any other standard, okay, you don't need anything here. So then I can preview my report. You must select at least one report column, okay? It's okay, the actual changes, okay? So, and then the actual balance, let's look at the actual balance, and that's fine. Wow. So you can see now, this is very straightforward. You can see here, this is the net change and this is the balance. The balance is the balance as at now, and then the balance for the year. And the net change is based on the period, which is for January. And this is because of the way I ran the report. So let's look at it again. If I come to this option here, let me see the options. The options. So if I want to put comparison, let's say we want to see comparison. So everything you are going to see on the report is based on the setup. So if whatever you want to see, you pick the options here, and then the system will give you the report exactly the way you want it. So let's look at this, and then we can preview. So can you see now? So now the system is comparing it with the same period last year. So, and that is what you see here. So you can see the checking account. This is the balance. This is the balance now, and this is the balance. This is the balance in January. This is the balance now, and this is the balance in last year, in the same period last year. So, this is not fixed, like I said in the case of the other report. So whichever way you want your own report is something we can easily customize. We can customize it exactly to whichever way you want it. You can customize it, very simple. You configure it, and then you have it exactly the way you want it. Then you also have if you want to see the detailed trial balance is something that will give you the opportunity of seeing the detailed transaction for a particular GL account. So we have a detailed trial balance. Detailed trial balance. So if you pick detailed trial balance, now this here, the system is now asking, what do you want to see? Do you want to see per page, whatever your options? Do you want to see the cases of including reverse entries? Do you want to see including the corrections? Because sometimes when you, within the same ledger, you post some entries for the purpose of corrections. So if you want, you don't want to see those, you don't want the system to bring out those corrections, but although the figures will still be right, but you just don't want to see those corrections, you can suppress it. And that's when you tell the system not to show the reversals or not to show the corrections. So let me pick a particular entry, especially let me pick this one, the checking account. And then I want to see the entry for, let's say I want to see the entry for one period, let's say for period 1 to period 3, period 1 to period 3. So you can see that the system is giving me, the system is smart enough to know that I'm asking for January to March. So the next thing I need to do now is to just go and preview my report. So then I'll preview. So then I'll preview. So if I preview, because this is the case of detailed trial balance. So you can see that it will tell me the entries for that particular GL account based on the period. So I'm looking at the detailed ledger for that particular account for January and for March. So if I look at it for January and March, so let's look at it. So these entries we have an entry in that account 1st of January. I think the only entries we have is just January. We don't have in March. We don't have in February. So let's say let's run that same entry for the whole of January to December. So let's say P1 to P12. So I'm running it for P1 to P12. Let's see the entries. This will give you all the entries in the ledger, as long as any entry that is posted to that account, the system will bring it out. So you can see those entries I posted. So the entries I posted in April, the one I posted in May, and all the entries are there. So, and one thing again is the system is telling you the balance at the beginning of the period. So at the beginning of January, the balance in that account is 7638.40. Then the balance as at December, because you are asking for the period, you are running the entries between January and December, and the balance is now minus 248. So those are some of the key reports we can have in the system. And what you have so many other reports. We still come back to reports when we are through with receivables. So we want to look at receivables. What do we mean by receivables? So this is one of the sub-modules normally used for finance. That is anything that has to do with a customer. So we want to start by looking at the customer card. So customers. So customers are people you also deal with, that you interact with. That these are the people that that pays you for the services you render to them. So look at this system. If you look at it here, you see something called fact box. So if you pick any of these customer, immediately you have a box here that reflects, even right from the list, you see you have the opportunity of seeing details of the entries in that account without even going into the list of without going to the card of that customer. So this is very good, especially when you have long list of customer and then you want to work smart. You don't want to start going into the details. You just want to have a brief balance of what is in that customer account. So when you pick the customer, sorry, I can come to this customer here, and I can come to this customer. You can see that each time you change your customer, you can see that the entries here will keep changing. So that is part of the benefit of the application. So this is telling you that the system is smart enough to see, to look at your customer, where you are at a particular, what is important to you. So it's not only that, you also have something called customer statistics. Customer statistics will tell you the balance, the order, outstanding order. It will tell you the shipped, not invoice. It will, every information you need as long as that for that particular customer to take decision for that customer is what the system will give you. If you have the credit limit, the system can also give you. So look at all this information. So all these things comes by standard. Now, when you look at the customer card, what are the information on the customer card? Yes, you have opportunity of even uploading the customer picture. I mean, if that is important to you, then you have the box, the fact box, like we said, the history in terms of sales, invoices, posted invoices, overdue invoices, all the information. Then you have it in form of numbers, all the payments, the sales. So this is telling you the sales outstanding order, which you need to act on. So this is telling you that you have some order which you have not invoiced this customer, and then you need to just look at whatever challenges you have so that you can invoice the customer. So then shipped, not invoiced, that's when you have shipped to the customer, but you have not invoiced the customer. So you as a finance person, without even going to the sales person, the warehouse, right on your desk, you can monitor all the activities for that customer. You have the 360 view of that customer. So let's say, for example, like outstanding order that is already created by sales department, and it is not yet invoiced or is not yet shipped because of one reason or the other. If it is your responsibility to follow up with them to understand the challenges, then you can quickly do that. What is the problem with this order, so that you can quickly get the things done. Then in the case of shipped, not invoiced. So these are things that we move here. Immediately the order is shipped, it will move from the outstanding order to shipped, not invoiced. And then when it is invoiced, then it will come to the outstanding invoice, which is not yet paid. When it is paid, it will come to the payment here. So if you have any refund, you can also monitor it here. So this is the case of credit limit. If you have credit limit for that customer, outstanding amount, all the information that has to do with the customer can be tracked here. So then we also have information we can capture on the card of the customer here. You have the basic information in terms of the number, the customer number, the address, the details, the contact person, if all those information is important to you, address of the customer, and then the rest of that. So you have an opportunity of tracking information about the payment term, because this is what will determine the due date of your invoice. So if you agreed 1 month with the customer, the implication is that particular invoice will not become due until it is after 1 month. And that is what will reflect in your aging. We will look at the aging now by the time we invoice and see the effect of the aging. So many information. You can also have the application method This application method is also very important. You have a situation where you set the application to either manual or apply to Odest. Apply Odest means you come first in, first out. So the system will automatically apply invoices to payment based on the payment or application method you specify here, which is apply to Odest. But if you set manual, the implication is each time you post into this transaction, this customer, the system will not automatically apply the payment to the invoices. So until you go back to the system and then do the application, we will look at the application method briefly before the end of the class. Sorry, we still have like 20 minutes before we open up the for question and answer. So I will just rush through, the rest of the section. So this is fine. We have seen the customer card. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to raise the invoice for the customer, because that's what we normally do for customer. We want to generate invoice for our customer. So to generate the invoice, we go to the sales invoice. I would say pick sales invoice. Sales invoice. So I have all these are sales invoices that we have in the system. So we can just look at one of them. So we can add it, we can modify the sales invoice, and then before we post the sales invoice. So if this is fine for us, we have 3 items. We have this item here, and this is the unit price, and the unit price is there. I'm trying to expand it so that you get it, we see it clearly. So then we have the unit price, and then what is the quantity? So the quantity is 4, so we can invoice this. Then there's no limit to the numbers of lines we can capture here. You can capture more lines, and once you are fine, you can post the invoice. So let's see, post the invoice. Posting, you can preview to see whether everything is fine. Yes, so the system is already, you can see it's fine, telling you all the entries that will be affected. It will affect the customer ledger entry. It will affect the item ledger entry. Why? Because we are bringing in inventory. The tax entry is also going to be affected. Why? Because we have a tax set up there, which is the sales tax. Then we have the customer detail ledger entry, and then we have something that is called value ledger entry. Value entry is related to item ledger entry. So once that is fine by us, we just post it. So you can see that before we post, let's see before we post that I can come, if I pick this, I will see the balance before posting that particular invoice. So the balance in the customer currently now is, what is the balance in the customer? The balance in the customer is $53,000. So let's see what the effect will be after posting the invoice. So the system will immediately change. So let's say, for example, I want to increase this to, let's say, okay, now it's going to be a matter of whether I have enough inventory. So let's increase the value to 50,000, and then I can post my invoice. Post the invoice. So the system said the invoice is posted as number this, and move to the posted sales invoice window. Do you want to open the posted invoice? Yes, because I just want to see whether I want to see the value. So this is it. So immediately you post your invoice, the system will file this somewhere called posted invoice, so that anytime you want the transaction, maybe you just want to reprint the invoice, you can always get it or maybe you want to read any reason. Maybe you want another copy, you can always, or you want to make reference to that particular invoice. So it is there in the system. So assuming the customer is paying for this particular invoice, so let's see how the system we can generate a receipt. So we have something called cash receipt. Cash receipt. So cash receipt. So the purpose of cash receipt is to generate your receipt. So I can come here, pick. I'm applying this to. I'm paying for the customer. The customer is paying. So I pick the customer. I pick the account of the customer. So this is payment, for example. So the customer is paying. What's the name of the customer? Let's say this is the name of the customer. So then I'll come here. So because I'm applying to the because the customer is paying. So if the customer is paying, that's the account is this checking account. So this is the collection account. So I'm applying this to the invoice, the payment to the invoice. So I will tell the system to go to get me the invoices. So the moment I do that, the system will give me all the invoices that are open for payment. So I can pick those invoices the customer is paying for. So let's say, for example, the customer is paying all these invoices, then I can pick them. Or if the customer is just paying for only one invoice, so I can pick the particular invoice. So the customer is paying for only this invoice. So this is the invoice is paying for, and then I'll pick OK. So once I pick OK, you will see that the system will automatically bring the value here. So it will automatically bring the value. This is the value. I don't need to put the value. So once I apply, but if the customer is not paying for everything, that's when I need to now modify this. So let's say the amount the customer is paying for out of this is 150. So I'll pick 150 out of this. Then I can now post this. So I want to post, and then I will now pick a post, and it's posted. So it's successfully posted. So let's now see that this again. If I see want to make payment, then the same customer, let's say the same customer. Am I sure I remember that customer? Okay, so yeah, School of Art. So now let me pick. I'm applying to the invoice. By the time I want to apply to that invoice again, let's go to that invoice again. You discover that the system will just give me only the balance left on that invoice because I paid part of it. So I think this is the invoice. This is the last invoice. So if I pick this, you will see that the system will not bring the total amount again because I paid part of it. So how is that possible? So let's see. Okay, so let's pay first. Then we now see the to understand the way the system did the application. So we can post yes, then that is the system will say you want to post yes. So if I go to that customer's account to understand this the entries. So let's go to the customer account. We come to the customer. Let me pick customers. I want to go to the customer lists. Then I want to pick this customer. Then I want to go to the ledger of the customer. That is, I can see it under customer ledgers. So if I come to the customer ledgers, the system will give me all the entries. Then on the entries now, you can see the payments I made. Now, this is the payments I made now. So So I made some payments now. Let me check. Let's check those payments. So you can see that the amount I paid, I first paid 150 and I paid another 60,000. So you can see that the system has automatically closed this transaction. If the transaction is closed, you see that the column here, you can see that it is closed. So that means it is fully applied to some invoices. So I want to know the invoices this is applied to. So I can pick this and then I will see the invoice. Oh, okay, this is applied to an invoice. So let me see the invoice it was applied. So this is the application. Okay. Just let me see I'm not seeing the application yet. So let's go to the navigation here, page, more entries. I want to look at the application, applied entries. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's look at the entries. This application here. I know the invoice was applied to one of the invoices and the invoices is closed. So let's look at the invoices that have been closed. I think this is this is the invoice. So the total amount will give you the actual amount of the invoice. But when you look at the application, that means the entry has been fully applied and it is fully closed. So for those ones that are showing red, the implication is the invoices are still outstanding. If you look at this invoice here, this one is red. Is red because today, this is the posting date of the transaction. Then this is the due date of the transaction. Let's look at the due date. So what determines whether a transaction will be red? When it is red, that shows that it is due. It is overdue. So, and it is overdue because the due date, let's look at the due date. What is the due date for this transaction? If you look at the due date for this transaction is what? Is 30th of April. And our work date today, if I look at my system and now look at my work date, if I pick my settings and I look at my work date is today, which is 6th, which is 5th of June. So because it's due, the transaction is due since April 30th, and that is why it is red. If I change my system date to, let's say, for example, April, you see that this one will turn back to black automatically or blue, showing that it's not due. So let's look at that. So I want to come here, pick settings here, and then now change this my work date. That is my work date now is no longer today, which is June, 5th of June. Let's say my work date is 3rd of April or 3rd of March 21. So if I say, okay, immediately I do that and I refresh this, I will refresh it now. Refresh is just like you close it and then you go back to the ledger. So let's see. So when I go back to the ledger, it will reflect on the, so how many of them are due now? So you can see that only 3 is due now. So most of the ones that are due are not due again now. So so what is still the due date? Sorry, hold on. Yes, so this is March. So I just want the date, that setting, to take effect on my system. So let's check. Wow. So, okay. So this is this invoice was posted on May 4th, and the due date is, let's check the due date again. The due date is I want to check the due date of the transaction. I'm checking the due date of the transaction. Where's the due? Okay, the due date is, so this is still, this is showing red. Okay, so this is showing, also showing red. Okay. Okay, sorry, I'll come back on this, because if I change my due date, if I change my date as I change my current date, oh, sorry, it has changed back to today, which is 5th of June, and that is why most of the transactions are showing red. So this one now, if we look at this now, this one is due. Let's look at another one that is not paid, that's having remaining balance, but yet is not due. Let me check anyone that is having remaining balance but not yet due. Okay, no other transaction is okay. So let's move on to the case of the case of refund. So how do you manage refund? The refund is managed through cash receipt. Through cash receipt, we have the cash receipt journal. I want to post a refund. So let's assuming it's today's date, then I can pick refund. I can pick the customer. I'm picking the customer. When I'm making refund to the customer, it has to be, so let's say I'm picking this customer and I'm making refund of, 300, let's say 400,000, 300,000. So then this is a balancing account. So I can post the refund. So let's see. So then I can post my refund. Then I post the refund, and it's fully posted. Now, then we have a case of credit memo. So how do we reverse our transactions? Like in the case of credit memo. So we have credit memo, credit invoice, sales invoice. So credit sales invoice, or we call it credit memo. So sales credit memo. So sales credit memo is normally used to reverse your invoices. So if I want to reverse my invoice, I have two options. I can tell the system to call the invoice that I want to reverse. So I pick new document here. Then I pick the customer. Let me pick one of the customer I just posted to now. Then I can now, I'll go to the credit memo, and I can call the document. So I can call the document, and the system will bring the document that I want to reverse. So I can copy the document. So the system is asking me which document I want to reverse. So I'm talking of a posted invoice. So once I pick posted invoice, the system will give me all the list of invoices. All the list of invoices, then I can pick the one I want to reverse. So if I want to reverse this, once I pick the invoice, the system will bring it to the line, and so that I can reverse it. So that is the case of the reversers. So we quickly want to go to payables, that is purchases. So the purchases is very similar to sales. So to raise a purchase invoice, we create purchase invoice. So purchase invoice, we create this is an invoice. We can look at the invoice. These are entries in the invoice item. Then we can post. So when you post purchase, the implication is the vendor account will be updated, and also the service or item you are posting will also be updated. So like in this particular case, the item will be the inventory item will be updated automatically. So this is by increasing the inventory by 5, this one by 5, and this one by 7. So we post, we come here and pick post. Do you want to post this the invoice? I say yes, I want to post the invoice. So once I post the invoice, the system said the invoice is posted as number this, and then move to posted purchase invoice window. Do you want to open the posted invoice? I said yes, I want to open the posted invoice. So this is the posted invoice. Just the same case with sales. The moment you post your invoice, the system will automatically create your posted invoice document. Now, if I want to make payment, I can. We have something called we have almost 2 or 3 methods of making payments for our vendors. The first one is you go to payment journal. So on the payment journal here, I can pick this and tell the system to suggest payment. So under this suggest payment, the system will bring all the invoices that are due at that particular date and bring it to the screen. So if I pick suggest, the system will ask me this question: the last payment is this, and then it will now pick. Once I confirm the document number, the document number is already there, and then I now pick OK. So the system we pick all the invoices. So it makes your job very easy. So you don't have to now go and raise journal or make payment for each vendor. You just run a process. That process will pick all the invoices that are due as at that particular date. And then based on your fund availability, if you don't want to make all the payments, then you can now decide which of the invoices you want to delete because you don't want to pay right now. So what you just need to do is just to pick this, select all the invoices, then you can select the one you want to delete. And then when you are comfortable with the one you want to remove, then you can pick delete. And then only those 3 lines or few lines will be deleted. And then you can go ahead and then post the rest of the payments. So part of the advantage of this method is the system has already automatically applied the payments to those invoices, so that next time when you are preparing payment, those invoices you are paid will never come back. You wouldn't make mistake of paying somebody twice. So let's say, for example, I pay this. This one is posted. Then I go back again and I'm preparing my payment again the next time. And I said, okay, give me suggest the list of invoices that are due as of today that I need to pay. You can see that the system is now bringing just very few, because now I have just only 2 invoices that are due for payments now, because I've paid most of the invoices. I deleted this. Let's say, for example, I delete this again. So I want to delete this line. I want to leave only 1 line, and then I want to pay only 1 line here. So when I tell the system make payment, and then the system make payment, Next time I'm running this, my schedule of payments, I now say prepare, suggest the list of payments that are due. You can see that the system will never bring those ones you are prepaid. So the system is bringing only one document, and that is the only document that is outstanding to be paid. So the next thing you do now is just do the same thing, and then you post this payment. So we have come to the end of the class today. We will continue next week with the second section of the class. So we are ready to answer questions now. So if you have any question, you can unmute your mic, or you can send your message on the, you can use the chat box so that we can read your questions and then attend to them. Oh, okay. Any questions? Yes, somebody said we should send the recording to his email. Yes, we'll do that. We'll send it because you joined late, no problem. So we are going to have a second part of the class next week, the same time between 10 and 1 o'clock. So we have about 10 minutes for questions. So if you have any question, please ask us. We are ready to answer you questions. And for anybody that's interested in the test environment, we can also make the test environment available after next week section, so that we can try our hands and then look at assess the application. So please send the recording to me too. Okay, fine. We will send the recording to your mail. Any question? Okay, somebody is asking, how does the app work with tax applied? Yes, it's it's just a setup. We are going to have maybe a section on tax specifically, how you can use it to manage your withholding tax, how you can use it to manage your VAT and the other form of tax, but it manages your tax seamlessly. So let me, just for the benefit of the person that asks how the software can manage tax. Tax is based on the setup which you configure from both the customer or vendor card. So if you are dealing with a customer that is that needs to be charged tax, you will set it up at the customer card. So let's look at the card, the specific place where we set up tax parameters, just for the purpose of the person that asked question on the tax. So customer, if I go to the customer card, so on the customer card, I pick this customer here. So I have this on the customer card here. When we pick this under the invoicing, we have the tax parameters. So this is where we have the tax parameters here. Can you see tax? So we have the tax code here. So once we specify the tax code, is the tax will be applicable. So the tax is set up on the customer card and also on the item card. Let's also go to the item card. This particular application is a US application. So we also, maybe in the next class, we'll use the case of UK application, UK form of the application. So let me let's go to the item. If I go to the item card, I'm on item card here, and I want to look at where we normally set up tax for the item. So there's something called tax. So you can see tax group. This is where the tax. So once you set up this tax, you don't need to bother yourself about anything again. So once you select it, whatever setup you have for this tax is what will be applicable to them. So that is how we set up task. Okay, somebody said we should send it to him also. Send the video to us. Okay, yes, we will do that. Then we will also we will give you link to our YouTube. We also want to start doing a lot of recording on YouTube, and then we can share it with you. So you can also follow us on LinkedIn, on our Facebook, and other social media. Any other question? Okay, so we have come to the end of this the class today. So we hope you will join us next week. It will start the same time at 10 o'clock. For next week, some of the things we'll go through for next week is more advanced aspect of the application, like cash flow aspect of the application. We look at all the more advanced functionalities of the application, like bank reconciliation. We look at the other areas, fixed asset of the functionality. So anything that has to do with finance, but that is not treated today, that's what we discuss next week. Thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.